Smoking a good time in this video. So the Cowboys in this recent draft, I thought they did a pretty decent job. Concerns that they've been needing to address, in particularly across the defensive line. They drafted a lot of young guys, and we also drafted Nashawn Wright. He's the brother of Rajon Wright that was on Last Chance U, Langley College there in California. He went to Oregon State, and he says he's going to be the next Richard Sherman in the NFL. Time will tell with that sentiment. I like the cockiness. I love the arrogance. Now it's time to ball out.
Eason looking deep across midfield, ball up in the air, and it's intercepted by Nashawn Wright.
Washington had a high-power offense. You saw the stats on how many points they put up early, and this Oregon State defense has done nothing but stifle that attack. He
have to cover it more extensively.
No tackles tonight, and it's intercepted at midfield by Nashawn Wright.
But Dan Quinn, he really kind of threw me off there in his press conference because now he's saying he's going to convert from a 4-3 to a 3-4 style of defense. I'm guessing keeping his same type of scheme in place in terms of coverage-wise. I could be wrong about that, but he says he's moving to a 3-4, so he might just be changing up most of his defensive scheme. We'll see. But we're going to have a base 3-4, and then we're going to have a linebacker as the main pass rusher and 3 down linemen, most of the time in base packaging. And then when we're in nickel, going to be 2 linebackers or 2 of our best pass rushers. They're going to be standing up pass rushing with 2 D linemen going after the quarterback, basically. And that nickel type of defense, that's more so the base defense now in the NFL. Even Dan Quinn said that in his interview. So we're going to be in that a lot of the time. And one of these young corners that we drafted, they're going to have to play.
When that glitch mob gets going, you know it's a big third down in Lexington. Costello out of the gun, deep down the field. Pass intercepted by Kelvin Joseph.
To Jamin Davis right before the snap. Garantano to the edge, picked off! Intercepted by Kentucky in a free run. Lots of green for Kelvin Joseph. His second pick in as many games. And a pick 6 puts the Cats on the board.
Stetson Bennett.
4-man rush. Bennett pulls it back. Now he unloads. And he's intercepted. Kelvin Joseph with the pick.
And we're definitely going to have 2 new defensive linemen because we just let go of Antoine Woods. We cut him. I liked Antoine Woods at first, but he proved down the stretch, down the line in the playoffs when it matters the most that he really can't hold up in terms of stopping the run, which is why we just cleaned house and brought in a new cycle of defensive players.
Under pressure, and he is sacked. Zua he was the benefactor of all that pressure up front. He's the second guy to get there. It was a safety blitz up the middle.
On 2nd and 5, Daniels flushed and brought down second time tonight.
The speed package, watch all the bodies. All of a sudden, it's just suffocating in there. There's nowhere for him to step.
You know, he said, I'm not worried. I was like, well, you going to hold anything back? Nah, I'm not. So, I mean, look, he came in. He thought there was.
And instead hit and dropped. Chauncey ghosted.
He slipped. So hopefully some of these players are hits. Hopefully some of these players can actually play because we're going to need them to step up and play. Dak is now starting to say he can play in the NFL game right now. So that's great news. And the season is still a long time away. So we should have Dak fully back healthy. Now, will he be the same Dak Prescott? I don't know. We're starting to, in my opinion, starting to have mediocre type of games because the games that we did win, those games really shouldn't even been won. So this year is going to be a big year for Dak Prescott to really show me something, to really show that he's worth the money that he just got. Also, the Cowboys, they didn't exercise Van Der Esch's 5th-year option. They're just going to let him basically play it out, let him see what he can do. They said they want him down the line, down the stretch. This is what Stephen Jones said in the interview, but I really don't buy that. I believe they're going to really make him play for it because he's been hurt a large amount of the time, and when he has been out there, it hasn't really been just completely A+ the way we would love to see from our high-round draft pick and a linebacker that we got a couple years ago. I like the attitude of our first-round draft pick. pick, Michael Parsons. They say Jerry Jones loves bad boys, so he certainly got one right there. That's just the type of edgy personality and play we need in the locker room and also out there on the field.
Thinking they're going to get after the quarterback, opening up some running lanes with pass rush.
Blackshear again, and hello, Micah Parsons. Blitz, here they come. Plummer, he's going to go down again. Sack number 10. This time it's Micah Parsons.
Watch Parsons in the middle of the screen. He's one-on-one with the back. You try to cut me, I'm too athletic, hop over, and then the relentlessness.
We also still have Randy Gregory. We still have DeMarcus Lawrence. So I'm starting to like this group that they're putting together, that they're assembling. I imagine he'll have Randy Gregory's hand in the dirt most of the time, but I wouldn't also be surprised to see Randy Gregory lined up out there on the edge, just straight up pass rushing, which he might enjoy way more. Him going at it at the same time as DeMarcus Lawrence, on top of these new guys that we're going to have there in the middle. We've been drafting nothing but first-round picks in terms of the D-line for a couple years now. So when these picks should start to hit for us, we're about to have real competition in there at the defensive line to truly get the best product out there on the field. I'm kind of worried about our secondary, but at the same time, I feel like they have drafted enough players at the positions in the secondary to make the necessary improvements that are needed. But I believe we actually have covered up and addressed a lot of our issues that we've been having in terms of our front seven. I really do. Lots of people were saying that Dallas didn't have the type of draft that they would have liked initially, but they still had a pretty decent draft in my book. Yeah, they didn't just get to draft some of the players that they were looking at right off the bat, like Pat Surtain. His father played in the NFL for many years, and he was a stud at Alabama, and they wanted to draft him, and the Denver Broncos took him, snatched him right from under us. So we basically traded back. We traded with the Eagles, did business with them, and we still got our draft pick on top of more draft picks down the line. So I see that as a win for Dallas. I see that as a win because more picks are better. The more, the better. Yeah, you didn't just get to hit on everything that you wanted to, but guess what? Life isn't fair, so you have to move on and move down your draft board and get players that can still adequately suit and fit the needs that you're trying to address. There's also talk going around that the Cowboys would like to shop Michael Gallup around. The Kansas City Chiefs are looking at him because they just let Sammy Watkins go. So they're in the market for a wide receiver. And like I said, Dallas definitely has players that they can play with and toy with and trade. Many players on the offense. One thing about Dallas, many people don't know this, they actually draft really well. Most of their players always end up going to the Pro Bowl. One year, we had the most players to go to the Pro Bowl when we first got Dak and Zeke that year. So drafting has never been an issue with this football team. When their backs are up against the wall, when it matters the most, is the coaching staff going to put them in the best positions? Is the coaching staff going to do their part to create a great atmosphere for their players to win the game? And that's why some of the best head coaches, they take mediocre players that no one else had really took a look at, a lot of players that were undrafted. A lot of times these head coaches are still competitive, like your Bill Belichick's or your Sean Payton's, taking these players, still producing a winning culture, a winning atmosphere, taking these players and still going to that next level. The Packers have done this. Lots of teams have done this. What I'm saying is, I believe Dallas has addressed all of the needs and concerns that they have needed to address. We perhaps need another year full of nothing but defensive draft picks. Another year of defensive draft picks, Dallas is going to start to look good. We're going to start to look extremely good. We still have Trayvon Diggs combined with some of these corners that are going to eventually end up playing, combined with Casey that we brought in. Dan Quinn says he's a ball hawk, so we'll see how that fits. See if he's made the suitable adjustments to his scheme. Looking like he's starting to do that. It's looking like he has done that. So we'll see. And they would be interested in shopping Michael Gallup around because they just drafted another receiver that looks pretty good. He looks like he's a pretty great receiver. Many people are saying that he's actually better than Michael Gallup. So why not do the inevitable, which is now, which I could definitely see down the road because they're businessmen. Don't sleep on Dallas. Do not sleep on Dallas. Hit that notification bell. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share.